Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. If you missed yesterday's episode, it was all about being able to identify what is triggering us, the emotions that we're trying to avoid, and how we try to buffer them. Today, I want to talk a little bit more exclusively about those buffering techniques and how we procrastinate from really feeling those negative emotions and from living our best lives. So, I want to share a story, of course. So, how many of you have ever been so tired you don't want to go to bed? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you're watching a TV show and you're like, yeah, I should probably go to bed right now, but I just am too tired to. Or you're in bed and you're on your phone and you're like, I should really put my phone away. Yawn, I'm really tired. And then you just continue to scroll on your phone for another hour and a half. Anybody out there have that happen? I know that I have this happen all the time. And here's the thing. It is a type of buffering. It is a way to escape any negative emotions and zone out and buffer from them. And that whole I'm too tired to actually go to sleep is because it's our body's way and our brain's way of being like, yeah, this just feels really good to not pay any attention to our emotions. And if we go to sleep, we might subconsciously be working through them. Or if we go to sleep, we have to wake up again tomorrow and I can't buffer first thing in the morning. So let's just stay up late and continue to buffer because it feels good. And I put feels good in air quotes because it may numb you in the moment, but it doesn't feel good long term. So I had this happen yesterday. I had a kind of stressful few hours, my last few hours in the workplace on a Monday, and on a Monday coming back from a week of conferences. And so it was pretty stressful. And as I was driving home, I was like running through all of the potential areas that I could be misstepping. Let's put it that way. And so as I'm running through these areas, I'm starting to get a little more anxious. I'm starting to get worried. So I come home and I had and not on Instagram, no pictures, no video. Forgot to have somebody take any, didn't take any myself. But yesterday I play in a community orchestra. I play the cello and we had our concert yesterday. Concert in the park. And so I didn't really have time to buffer, but I'd had a negative-ish day. So I came home, grabbed my cello, got ready, went to the concert. Started to get a little bit of a headache because I had suppressed all these emotions. And then when I came home from the concert, I didn't do the kind of techniques that I probably could have done. Notice I said could instead of should. Should is shame. Could is opportunities, right? So I could have done my emotional release exercises, but instead I buffered. I sat down to watch a show on Netflix. And at about 9:30, which is late for me, I went, man, I'm really tired. I should probably go to bed. And then I hit play on the next episode. So this happens to everybody. And it doesn't necessarily have to be TV, and it doesn't necessarily need to be social media or playing games on your phone. But whatever it is for you, maybe it's I should go to bed, and you walk and you open the fridge. I don't know what your buffering may be for you, but I do know that this is a pitfall we all fall into. I fell into it yesterday. But the thing is it's because we're uncomfortable. So we're trying to find a way to give us those endorphins so that we're like, oh, we're happy, instead of dealing with the uncomfortable things so we actually can be happy. And I don't know about you, but when I stay up late, I don't feel great the next day. I don't feel happier. It's so momentary and it's just so numbing versus inspiring that buffering in these ways and procrastinating from doing the work can actually be very harmful. especially in the long term. Now, one night, like last night, I'm aware. And I know that today I'm not going to fall down that hole. I'm not going to fall into that trap. I know that one time and being aware and being like, this and this and this happened. This is why I was behaving this way. How can I change that habit? How can I change that pattern? Can then help me change it. But it all takes that awareness, which brings us back to yesterday's episode about being aware and asking yourselves these things. So that said, what are the top ways of buffering? I'm going to start at the top and work my way to the most popular, right? So most extreme to the most socially acceptable, but also the least popular to the most popular. So first off, we have excessive drug use. I don't think that's popular by a lot of people, but it is there. There is a reason why people tend to get, let alone the chemical and all those other things, maybe genetics, but there also is usually a reason why someone starts delving into drug use, because they don't want to feel the negative emotions they're feeling in their life. And that can cause an addiction, an excessive overuse. Maybe it's not as far as an addiction, I don't know. But excessive use is considered buffering. You're not dealing with your emotions, you're using something to numb it, to buffer it, to buffer your life from it. All right, so next is excessive drinking. Now, I'm not going to say alcoholism because I think that may be a different level as well, but drinking in excess. Coming home and being like, I had a really rough day, I deserve a glass of wine. And then having 3. That could be buffering, especially if it's precursor with, I've had a rough day. It's probably buffering. Okay? One of the most popular, especially in Western civilization, is overeating. It's one of the reasons why America, at least, and I had a conversation with a friend in the UK the other day, they're running into the same problem. Obesity is becoming an epidemic. Now, again, there's a lot of physical and other things happening, but overeating is a huge buffering technique for most of society because it's widely acceptable. Overdrinking, acceptable, but borderline. Excessive drug use, pretty unacceptable. People are pretty firm on we don't do drugs. And so as we come down the line, what's more accessible and acceptable is overeating. Going to the fridge instead of going to bed when you knew you wanted to go to bed. Okay? Watching TV, social media, and excessive gameplay. Excessive gameplay being video games on your phone or on a console. Excessive TV, binge watching for an entire weekend where you spent the whole weekend emotionally invested in someone else's story instead of your own. Being on social media, scrolling through someone else's life, several other people's lives, instead of investing in your own. So as I walk through these, has your brain been going, oh, ding, ding, ding? Because we do more than one of these. In some instances, we do more than one of these at the same time. I'm going to watch TV, scroll through my Facebook, and eat some ice cream with the other hand. I've been there. So as I've been saying these and understand these types of buffering and what it can do to your life, do you have one of these or that you is your main fallback, or do you use some of these in a cycling rotation? Again, I know I do. So I want to bring that to your awareness today, a little bit more detail about what that can mean and that thought of when it's late at night and you're like, I should go to bed, and you keep on doing the buffering technique. Then tomorrow we'll get a little bit more rational about reevaluating and reconnecting who we want to be instead of being in fear, and allowing ourselves to work through those emotions so that we don't buffer as much and so that we can continue to progress forward in our lives instead of numbing out and having that false sense of happiness. So that said, I hope this episode resonated with you. If it did, please rate, review, and subscribe on your listening podcast platform of choice. If you'd like to leave a review, which would be amazing, you can go to Apple Podcasts or Facebook.com. So that said, have a wonderful day, and remember, you are capable of happiness abound.